And good morning. We're into Wednesday, aren't we? Yeah, this is the midweek. How are you today? Already 6:30 on the 4th day of March. It just still sounds weird saying March. I'm trying to catch up with myself as this year's flying by. Next thing you know, we'll be saying it's New Year's again. Christmas right around the corner, it seems. The years just fly by is the point I'm getting to. Starting out today at 62, we'll get to a high of about 82 this afternoon. Nice weather. Now, rain is in the forecast come the weekend. Keep that in mind. Saturday, the rain will really move in. We do have rain chances on Friday, but a higher percentage chance as the weekend moves into Saturday night, and through Monday. Details on that forecast up and coming here in just a little bit. We'll have the latest headlines that are shaping America this morning. What has gone on? I'll tell you the latest from Florida. What happened with some of the elections last night in Texas. We've got all of that coming up in a runoff or so from Texas also. That's all on the way this morning. Let's go to Collinsville now to the First Baptist Church as we get a good message. Brother Ben has one for us.
If I were to walk over to your spice drawer in your house and have a peek, what might I see? Probably some Creole seasoning, some lemon pepper, maybe paprika, garlic powder. Certainly the staples of salt and pepper, right? I mean, seasoning just makes food better. And we down here in the Deep South, man, we know that well. But seasoning doesn't just make food taste better to our tongues, it can also make words sound better to our ears. Apostle Paul tells us in Colossians 4:6, let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt. Now that sounds simple, but it's actually a profound truth about how we influence the people around us. Salt, if done rightly, doesn't overpower. It enhances. It draws out what's already there. And so gracious speech works the same way. It doesn't bulldoze a conversation. It elevates it. When you speak with kindness, patience, intentionality, people lean in rather than shut down. So Paul connects gracious speech here directly to our witness. How we talk is part of our testimony. Now, harshness may win an argument, but it'll lose the person. Grace, on the other hand, creates the kind of environment where truth can actually land and win them over in the end. Now, this doesn't mean that we got to avoid saying hard things. Salt also preserves, right? It protects against decay. So gracious speech can still be honest, even uncomfortable, but the way we say something, it shapes whether somebody can receive it, right? So if you want to influence people in your life toward Christ, start with your words. Speak grace. Season carefully. The right
Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mouty Cabinetry. Welcome back, your friend Scotty Ray. I hope you enjoyed that message this morning. Always good to get such a good start to a day. We'll say it that way. Of course, we got so much more to be thankful for, don't we? As we said, we start this morning off at 62. It's going to be nice. 20 degrees higher coming with a high of 82. Partly sunny for the most part of the day. As we look outside, there could be some remaining fog where you are. There was a little bit in the forecast last night. We'll have a chance to look at radar and all of that coming up. Last night, Florida. Stark, Florida is where this all happened. The third execution of the year happened in the state of Florida after 35 years. Wow, that's a long time. We go back to a night when the police officer pulled over someone for driving the wrong way on a road. Goes up to the guy's car and he asked him to step out. The guy wouldn't. He finally gets the guy out of the car and he jumps the police officer. They wrestle for his gun. The revolver, or the automatic weapon, not a semi-automatic pistol, went off 14 times. 9 of those would shoot the officer. He was struck with his own gun. The guy overpowered him and took his gun. Shot the police officer 39 times out of 14. He lost his life last night. The man who did this died. Lethal injections, how it happened there in Florida. His wife said that it couldn't bring him back, but justice was served and she must move on. 35 years, that sure is a long time for something to happen, is it not? Our court systems are so backed up on this. Lives are lives. How horrible. That took a long time for justice, but it was served last night. And again, that was in Florida where all that went down. We had a small plane make an emergency landing yesterday, and it wasn't as dramatic as the big plane a few years ago that landed in the Hudson, but it did land in the Hudson. The pilot and the person on board swam to shore. They're okay. Can you imagine? I don't ever want to be in that situation. That cannot be a good feeling. But again, they swam to safety, and we're so tickled over that. What else is happening this morning as we look at this? California, voter fraud. Does voter fraud exist in the U.S.? It sure does. This is just one example of someone being caught. This goes back 6 years now to the 2020 election as we look at this. After it was investigated, 71 voter names was registered to one residence. 71 people in one home. And as a matter of fact, they still found 41 more that were going to be mail-in ballots. I couldn't get that out, could I? Oh, and did I mention that he'd been elected to city council? Yep. Lodi City, California, Lodi, if I pronounced that correctly, is where all that happened. 71 people. Is there not, and I just don't know these things. I asked this out loud. Is there not a system that shows when there's more than the normal home would have in it? I'm sure that there's some families that have up to 8 where the mother-in-law, father-in-law move in or something like that. And you could have maybe even up to 10 people in the house if your in-laws were living with you and you had, but 71, is there not something that fires off that says maybe you should go look at this? I'm just asking for a friend, that's all. Manhattan. I don't agree with this at all, but a judge has ruled that it can happen. It may end up in the Supreme Court. It's not fair, is what I'm saying. And what I mean by that, the congestion pricing. Do you know what I mean about this? You visit New York, Manhattan, during certain times of the day, you're going to be charged to have your car in the city. About $9 more during the hours, I think it's between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. It just seems un-American, does it not? And then this will be passed on to taxis with higher fares. And of course, they're trying to just keep cars out is what they're after, they claim, and, well, make money at the same time. That just does not seem right. Not in my book. Oh my. Elon Musk has reposted a video, and you have to. And let me show this of what he says. This is Elon Musk of what he said. If a state won't share data on criminal use of SNAP benefits, not individuals, but the state, it won't get $1 of federal SNAP administration funding. I think that's only fair, is it not? Elon often wades into politics of what he thinks should be done, and this is one of those. Again, if your state has been accused of criminal use of the benefits, it should be shown to the taxpayer. And if they don't, then they don't get the funding for the new year. Plain and simple. Not everything and people that do wrong is simple, is it? We go to Hillsborough County, Florida. This happened this week. 89 people in a massive undercover child sex trafficking operation targeted predators looking to exploit children. They've arrested 89. There's no telling the horrors that you and I do not know that are out there in this world, is it? You never know. Our small town, as people pass by through here, it is a huge, huge travel place. We have tons of people come through here every day, and we never know what's passing through that we can't help. Overnight, now this is in Canada. We looked to Canada. A synagogue has been shot up. I don't think there's any injuries, but it was shot up. Now, I don't agree with this at all. let's say, let me give you an example, and this is America. How many out here of us deer hunt? Probably a good people watching, or you know someone who deer hunts. Say your grandfather gives you a gun that was his, or buys you one for Christmas. The grandfather cannot be held accountable for what that person does, in my opinion. And I go back to this, a school shooter. He had given his kid a gun for Christmas, and they've arrested and charged the father with murder. I don't think he did that on purpose. Not the father. It is the child that went forth and done wrong. Now, do I know about his parenting skills? I do not. I don't know what went on in that household. But the child done that. He should face it, in my opinion.
It depends on the mental status of that child when he got the weapon.
And I don't think there was anything wrong with the mental status. Odie was saying about mental status of the child. Now, if you knew a child was sick and you shouldn't give, it's true. But you think about that. You're gifted something and then you're held accountable for what someone else does. I don't follow that thinking. Here's something that gets my dandruff up. And maybe I'm pronouncing it. You'll remember her face. She was back and forth after Trump a lot. Lita James from New York City, the DA there. She is telling hospitals to resume treatment on children for transgender surgeries. I won't go anymore. You can take that however you want to. As we look at Spain, possible, as they're wording this, possible swine flu case first reported there. It was a person-to-person contact. We don't know. Trump has made an announcement, believe that or not. He says, we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain. And you go, well, why? If you're not aware of it, Spain would not let the U.S. use its airstrips for this little situation going on in Iran. Portugal, on the other hand, said, come on, United States. We'll help you in any way you can. You can use anything we have. They've been partners with us since about 1791. That's good to know. Spain will probably regret that. Trade war probably coming for them next. Justin Timberlake. Was he the Backstreet Boys? Does anybody remember that?
I think that's him.
Backstreet Boys. Back in 2024, believe it or not, that's rocking on 2 years from now, he was arrested for DUI. He is suing to keep the body camera footage from not being shown to the public. The police are ready to release it. He doesn't want it. He is suing, trying to stop this. He must have said something during that arrest that wouldn't have set well with fans. Now, we don't know exactly what was said, but they don't want that out there. How much is a postage stamp now? My wife picks them up for us. They're 70-something cents?
Something maybe.
They're high, and there's nothing forever about them. They just keep going up. New stamps coming out. It's going to have the buffalo on it from Yellowstone. Maybe you're a stamp collector. It's getting kind of high to even collect them. We have... well, that's just not worth getting into this morning. Do you trust electric cars? I'll start there. Do you trust that? I often don't trust my golf cart to get back home because it sometimes quits. This is the point I'm going here. Cars, you can go X amount of miles, but they're coming up. Uber is going to have the first to have this. Helicopters that deliver people, taxis that run off of batteries. Would you trust that? It'd be a horrible time to find this at the wrong time that the batteries went down. I'm just saying I'm not a big fan of that. Not saying it won't work. I'm not going to be the first in line to take the first ride. Ecuador had its first land operation against the cartel. U.S. military assisted. Bad guys aren't winning. And let me... across the pond, England. You know, we had a guest there from England not long ago. And you ask, why are we so big about our borders in America? Well, you can be overrun by another country's bad folks if you're not careful. And it is really looking that way in England. Let me show you this guy here. As we go to this, Here's the button right there. That guy right there. Now, he was accused, he's a convicted terrorist. He was accused of plotting against the British consulate in Yemen at an angelic church. He's now running for office in Birmingham, and it looks like he's going to win the office. And again, he's a convicted terrorist, and it looks as though he's going to win because the country has so much change with who's in it now. Yesterday, and this is pretty big here, where they had someone that was arrested outside of Ken Paxton's office, his campaign headquarters. He's running for Senate in Texas. If you're not familiar with who he is, the man had the car filled with ammunition and lots of other things. He was arrested. He wasn't able to do anything, but it was stopped before it began. That's the good news. Sarah Huckabee has secured her nomination for re-election as governor of the great state of Arkansas. Congratulations to her. Looks as though she'll stay there. Now, here's something that was on the ballot. I am just not, and I probably should get edumacated. You ever heard that word? On what happens outside of our little state. Texas. I didn't realize this was on the ballot, and I'm shaking my pen, aren't I? This was on the ballot yesterday. Texas voted on Proposition 10, and it was whether Texas should prohibit Sharia law, Islamic law. I'm happy to report that it was voted down by Texans. How did that even get on the ballot? Has it gotten that bad that we didn't know about it in other states? I'm afraid so. All right, here's what we know so far in Texas out of these elections. Now, there was elections held in the Carolinas as well, but I looked more to Texas this morning as a brief overview of what happened. Cornyn and Paxton, they're headed to a runoff. Now, the incumbent was Cornyn. From what I'm understanding, was basically, you ever heard that term rhino? That's basically what I'm hearing, what he said. As you go back and look at this, he stated in 2024, before the election got there, that Trump should remain out of politics. And if you will notice, Trump did not endorse anyone in this election there. So it's a good chance that he's going to be beat. They're headed to a runoff between Ken Paxton and him. If I'm not mistaken, Ken Paxton was the attorney general there. Am I right? I think so. And he's up against him. Now, in other news that went on in Texas that you're probably hearing by now, the guy with the patch. And I didn't know this at all. I thought he was a big-time mega supporter. Not so much. He has lost. Let's turn that off. It looks like he's been unseated. He has been. You know who I'm talking about? Let me show you his face here so you'll know. This guy right here. I've seen him on news articles, and I've seen him on Fox News once or twice. But he has been defeated. Interesting there. Let's see who else. Oh, this is already saying that there is cheating, voter fraud. Jasmine Crockett was defeated last night. She was running on the Democrat ticket for Senate in Texas. She did not win. Again, most likely we will see Trump come out before long and endorse somebody at this next election. I do see that coming. I hate to even tell you this story here as we go to Cleveland, Ohio. And I don't know very much about this, but this is horrifying as 2 young girls have been found deceased in suitcases. More will come out on that, and we'll tell you that's a tough one to even talk about there. As Trump and his officials spoke to Congress, they've told them that Iran will be hit hard and overwhelmingly hard in the next few days. That's happening now. I won't talk about that. We've got your forecast coming up in just a moment. We're going to update you with everything that's going on in and about locally. There was a lot happened yesterday. That begins at 7, but our forecast is right around the corner. And you're right, we'll be talking about the next election before long. We're 2 years away from that. Do y'all realize that? Midterms and so much more coming up, and the presidential election coming up in 28. Whew. Time is flying, is it not? We'll be right back. If your car needs any kind of maintenance, see our friends at Eastgate Tire Service in Meridian, Mississippi. They've been doing this for over 35 years. It started out with Matthew's dad, and they're still doing business today. That's tires, oil changes, brakes, shocks, AC work. If you need an alignment, they've got that as well. You'll find them there in Meridian. Drop in today. See them at Eastgate Tire Service, 601-482-1432 on Dale Drive.
For over 40 years, you've been able to count on Watt Equipment in DeKalb, Mississippi. They've got your Massey Ferguson's brand new 23 up to 135 horse cab and air tractors. They've got all your hay equipment needs, all your bush hogs. If your tractor needs it, they got it. Also remember, they service all makes and models, whether it's green, orange, blue, red, or yellow. They can get your parts in, they can do your service on your equipment. Don't forget Watt Equipment, DeKalb, Mississippi.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
As we go to our forecast, our record highs and lows. Y'all remember 2022? Boy, that was 4 years ago. Oof, talking about how time flies. 84 on this date, back in 43. Y'all remember the steel penny? Wasn't that the year of it? 1943 steel penny? It was 18 degrees that morning. As we look at our highs for today, we'll see 82 in Meridian. As we get to Philadelphia, a tad cooler up there in Eric's Land. As we go on up toward Columbus, 80 and 78 there at the state line. Over to South Haven, we should see 79. Through the Mississippi Delta, we'll weave down and hit 80. And by the time we get to Natchez, we should be at 83. And a bit difference in between Meridian and the Gulf Coast, we'll see 72 at Gulfport there. Enjoy yourself if you're sitting on the beach today. Enjoy that. As we go to tonight, not bad at all. 59 is what we're expecting as we go northward. Starts to warm up just a little bit there at Columbus, about 60 at the Air Force Base. 64 over near Tunica and down through Greenville. We'll see 64 tonight and 63 at Gulfport is the low that we're expecting for tonight as we go across. Now, as we look at record highs for today, what's going to be happening in Bama today? 82 in Demopolis, and we should see that as well in Livingston. Birmingham, a tad cooler at 80, and we'll see 81 at Montgomery is what we're looking at. Now, here's what we got over the next few days as we look at this. Still warm in Mississippi, all across the east there. Warmer in the Carolinas as we see this, and another warm front back over in California making its way, which leads us to this 7-day outlook. Again, it's going to get warm. Look at that. Do y'all see 84 on this? I do. 81 today is what we're expecting. Our low tonight, 59. As we get into Thursday, we'll see a high of about 82. 10% chance of rain sneaking into that forecast. By Friday, we've got a 60% chance, and this is kind of back and forth there, what it will be. We're a few days out. It will adjust. 60% chance, but the rain chance drops significantly for that night. Hopefully, we'll be able to get it in the full moon. By Saturday, we up that 60% again. We'll get to about 70% chance of rain Saturday night, and we're holding steady at that on Sunday as well. So it's a wet weekend. Even into Monday, we're still showing a 60% chance of showers before we get a decrease on Tuesday. So wet weather starting on Friday toward the weekend and kicking off next week. As we go another week into this, let's pull this up where you can take a look here. By Wednesday of next week, we're still at 83, but look at the difference in between next Wednesday when those showers come through and the following day. We drop from 83 to 65 for a high. Still not bad, and then we're back into the 70s again by the weekend. 73, 78, nothing bad to look at there. No surprises there. At least there's no cold weather in the forecast. Now, let's get into our fishing forecast brought to you by our friends at Parker Wholesale. Today, the wind's going to be light south wind increasing 5 to 10. Still not a good day to burn at all. Just forget about that. Hold on to it. Let some rain come through before you light a match and throw it to anything. Major times to fish today will be at high noon through about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, minor time will be after dark. As you'll see here, the sunset hits at 5:54, so you can get in an afternoon fishing probably 5 to 6. It'd still be okay, but the best fishing will begin after dark. Sunrise happened at 6:18 this morning. Let's take a look at what radar shows us this morning. We do have some fog off to our east as we look at this. As we pull this up and go across and look at Georgia, we've got Georgia, a lot of that Valdez. Look at that. those fog warnings in for you out there from Montgomery due east up through Charleston, South Carolina. Nothing going on in Mississippi at all. We got a little bit of fog here around Galveston, a little outlook there. Showers out to our northwest as we get into Tulsa, Oklahoma, those areas there. If you're traveling through there, Springfield, right there, Illinois, Missouri, we're getting some showers there. Look at that around Decatur due south there in Illinois. As we get up into these areas here around Charleston, West Virginia, we do have a few showers making its way there. And as always, Pittsburgh, you never know what the weather's going to do there. It'll change in 10 minutes there. But it's cold and often snowy. Makes you glad to be from Mississippi, doesn't it? Biggest thing we got to worry about is a puddle every now and then. That's the best way I can put it there. That's your weather forecast as we'll get the morning show off in about 4 minutes from now. We're coming back live, so make sure to come back and join us. Odie's whipping up some coffee. We'll have some special guests with us this morning. You don't want to miss out. MCC joins us this morning. We'll tell you more about it on the way here at the Scotty Ray Report.